everybody, both the mighty and the low, everybody in our society make use of on daily basis, and that is the issue of fuel. So it is on this note that we shall be looking at the topic: a proposed plan to sell our country's refineries. We have refineries, one at Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna. Yes, information as regards the proposed selling of the refineries actually came out over the weekend through a government source, that is the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, has said that the sale of the country's crude oil refineries was not off the table, disclosing that the rehabilitation of the facilities had become more complex than expected. The Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nation Oil Company, Bayo Ojulari, spoke at the just concluded ninth OPEC International Seminar in Australia, where he revealed that the technologies imported to fix the facilities are largely misaligned with the refineries as a result of old age. He disclosed on the state of the refinery. His disclosure on the state of the refineries came a day after Africa's richest man and president of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, also doubted the possibility of the state-owned Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna refineries functioning again. Dangote put the cumulative spending on rehabilitating the refinery so far at $18 billion. Dangote had at the weekend likened the turnaround maintenance of the refineries by NNPC, whose former officials are currently answering questions from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, to trying to modernize a car built 40 years ago when the technology has advanced. Aligning with Dangote's position, Ojulari, during an interview, noted that although a lot of investment had been made on revamping the refineries, the issue has become challenging. So it is on this note that we shall be looking at this topic, and thereafter we shall go to look at the issue of election, that is opposition parties rejected Lagos Council polls over the weekend. Yes, my guest on the program this morning is Mr. Olalekan Junaid, a public affairs analyst who will be joining us shortly. Yeah, but while we await his arrival on the program this morning, you know, our nation is in a mourning mood due to the passage of the former president of the country, President Muhammadu Buhari, on Sunday. And as you all know, President Muhammadu Buhari will be buried. His burial has started, his burial arrangement has started, and is as follows. Today, 15th July, by 2 p.m. this afternoon, the corpse, the body of the late president, will arrive his hometown, Daura, Katsina State. The remains will be received personally by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. President Buhari's remains at the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Airport in Katsina by 12 noon today. There at the airport, a brief military ceremony will be held at the airport in his honor. After that, the Islamic funeral prayer will take place in Daura after the remains are received. The burial will follow immediately after the prayers. On the part of government, the federal government has set up an interministerial committee chaired by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. And he has set up, the committee was set up by the President to oversee the state burial arrangement. Apart from that, 25 members of the Federal Executive Council have been directed to proceed to Katsina State to participate in the burial rites and remain there for the third day prayers, which will take place tomorrow, Wednesday. President Tinubu declared 7 days of national mourning starting from Sunday, when the news of the demise of the president was made known to the public. All flags will also fly at half-mast during this period. In addition, a public holiday has been declared for today in honor of the late president. In addition, the Federal Executive Council meeting scheduled for today has been postponed to honor the late president. Condolence registers have been opened in all federal ministries, departments, and agencies. Additional registers are also available at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Conference Center in Abuja and Nigerian embassies and missions abroad. And apart from this, dignitaries, world leaders have continued to extol the virtues of honesty about the late president, who led the country as a military head of state in 1983, between 1983 and 1985, and thereafter also led the country as a civilian president in 2015 to 2023. Yes, while we are still awaiting the arrival of our guest on the program this morning, still talking about the proposed sale plan to sell our country's refineries. You recall that attempt by previous administration to revamp the nation's refineries have always proved abortive from the administration of President Obasanjo till this moment. Government at one time or the other have continued to try as much as possible to spend some money on the refineries to make them functional, so that the problem of fuel scarcity and other issues surrounding of the availability of fuel, of petrol, is solved in the country. Let us also permit me to inform you that Obasanjo had recently stated that the NNPC could not run the refineries, revealing that even international oil companies like Shell declined his request to manage the facilities. That was when President Obasanjo was still there as the president of the nation. That is, he tried to bring in Shell company to manage the facility, but they said they declined his request to manage the facilities. Still on it, yes, on the part of Dangote, while speaking in Lagos, said that his oil refinery with over 650,000 liters per barrel per day is now a major force in Nigeria's downstream oil sector. He noted that his facility dedicates more than 50% of its output to the production of premium motor spirits, far surpassing the 22% historically allocated by government-owned refineries. He also recalled the controversial reversal of his acquisition of the refineries during the late President Umar Musa Yar'Adua's administration. Dangote said he was compelled to return the assets just months after purchasing them under former President Olusegun Obasanjo, following allegations by NNPC officials that the facilities had been sold below market value. In other words, the former President Olusegun Obasanjo did not actually make move to bring in private companies to manage the facilities, but he went further to actually sell. He sold the facilities to Dangote then, but the president that took over from Obasanjo reversed the contract then. For our listener at home to participate on the program, you can make your call through 081 301 32097, 081 301 32097. That is the number to call in and make your contribution. We are still awaiting the arrival of our guest on the program this morning. And on the other issue, talking about the local council election conducted in Lagos over the weekend on Saturday, that is the reaction of opposition parties rejecting the outcome of the election. You recall that the state Independent Electoral Commission announced that the All Progressive Congress won all the 57 chairmanship seats and 375 councillorship seats in the Saturday's Lagos State local government election. The chairman of the Lagos State Independent Commission, retired Justice Bola Okikiolu, said this on Sunday while declaring the results of the exercise at the commission's headquarters in Sabo Yaba, Lagos. She said APC won 375 of the 376 councillorship seats, losing one councillorship seat to PDP in Yaba. In Yaba, LCDA. My guest, Mr. Olaleko Junaid, is here in the studio. Good morning, Mr. Olaleko.
Good morning.
Welcome on the program.
It is a pleasure to be here.
Yes, the topic before us actually is a proposed plan to sell our country's refineries at Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna. This information came out over the weekend by the NNPC boss. And also, apart from that, the Alhaji Aliko Dangote had a day before that announced that there's nothing that can be done for the refineries to become functional again. But before we go into that fully, our nation is in a mourning mood due to the passage of the former president Muhammadu Buhari, and the burial rites will commence today. The body will arrive from London today, and a lot of activities have been lined out there by the president, federal government, to make sure that he receives a befitting burial, state burial. So, before we go on the topic, what your comments as regards these developments?
Yeah, thank you very much for this. It is known, it's a known fact that, and a known reality that every mortal will die. And the time has come for Muhammadu Buhari to say goodbye. There will be a time that will be my turn and your turn and everybody's turn. So we commiserate with the family of the late president, former president, and we ask God to grant them the fortitude to bear the loss. And then we commiserate with the entire Nigerian that somebody has made policies and direct the affair of this nation for good 8 years, and even more than 8 years. He has a stint in military rulership and then this democratic dispensation. So he's a known figure and an influential figure for that matter. So we also commiserate with entire Nigerians for the loss of that leader. We pray that God will accept his return and forgive all his shortcomings.
Yes, talking about President Buhari, his achievements. He tried a lot as president of this country. Let's not forget some issues, some things like N-Power. It was during his time that N-Power was introduced, trader money, and things, issues like that to reduce poverty in the country. Yeah. A brief comment as regards other.
Yes, I think that is one of the pinnacle of the policy of his regime to create a safety net for the poor so that they will be taken out of the poverty, the scorching effect of poverty. I think it's a plus to him, and also some other policies that are futuristic, and in which Nigeria might not even understand or might not even want to support at this material time, but at the end. And we are so lucky that President Tinubu is also even digging further on that policy review of Nigeria. And it's good for Nigeria. It's only when somebody is not having a modicum of education, that economic education, will be saying that the policy of this government is anti-social, anti-human. However, when you are very, very versed economically, you know that the only antidote to keep this country moving is to make some drastic reform that will also have a very biting effect on the people. We have been pampered children before, and that era just have to leave. The subsidy removal and the stoppage of Naira defense, all these will have a biting effect on the populace, but in the long run, Nigeria will win. So I want to appreciate President Buhari for creating a good platform for President Tinubu to flow and also to proceed on reforming Nigeria.
Yes, it was in the news that our refineries might not function and that they might be sold to private owners. What is your take on this?
This has been my position all this while, because I am trained along that line as a mining engineer. I know that the refinery will not see the light of the day if we keep doing what we used to do. No, government, there's no business for government in business. There's no business for government in running business. So refinery is not a public corporation, and it shouldn't be. And it has become a safe haven for corruption of various shades. Some people have become gluttons, and they are feeding fat on the resources of Nigeria. And these refineries have sophisticated alibi for these individuals to create a sort of economic hemorrhage or economic menstruation for our resources. So if it is taken to private hands, then we know that the refineries will work. No successful government, they have been making efforts to revamp the refinery, pumping money, investing heavily on the revamping the refinery. But what we see is sabotage. Those who have vested interest in one way or the other will frustrate that effort of the government. So there's no business for government in running business. Let these refineries, let them go to hands of private individuals. However, the government can have share out of the whole proceed. But for government to be running refinery 100%, I think it's inimical to Nigerian population and economic development.
Yes, Alhaji Aliko Dangote alleged that over $18 billion of the public fund have been expended on refurbishing revamping the refineries over the years, and nothing is forthcoming. But then, I'm very sure the refineries were functioning before all these problems.
No one
so
thing.
Why is it that the thing that was functioning before is no more functioning, and there's no possibility of the functionality of the
one thing that we Nigeria fail to understand is that technology is moving every day. Most of these installations, I made a comment about the bricks the other time. The defunct Ondo State bricks works in Irikiti. Some of these industry, and the same thing with Ajaokuta and all this Itapaya Hall. Some of the machineries there, they are yesteryear technology. They have been more advanced, more economic, and more effective machineries that are in trend, that are in vogue globally. Now, when you now want to service an installation that is still baking on past technology, you are going to have serious challenges. Just like somebody now that is presently riding Volkswagen Beetle. There will be challenge of spare part, there will be challenge of technical know-how, and there will be challenge of even durability, because the technology has left that realm. It's the same thing that the NNPC, the refineries are suffering from, because some of those installations they should be taken away, and new installation should be installed, because some of them are living on past technology. So revamping, pumping money into this is just like somebody, what Yoruba man will call kalo kalo. We just be consuming the money with little or no result. When we had the good news, quote and unquote, that Port Harcourt Refinery has started the operation and worried to follow suit, it's seemingly good. But somebody that is very, very knowledge about technological advancement, we want to know what are the content, what are those things that they have put to push for that production. And these are all technology, and they are bound to crumble. That is one. Then what of inbuilt saboteurs that will not want to see those production to see the light of the day? Let me bust your reasoning faculty further. Like, there are some people that are neck deep in importation of oil. If we have domestic production, are you now telling me that they are still in their comfort zone? No, because their business interests will be threatened. These people, they will not want to see that the refinery local production should see the light of the day. But if it is under a private hand, then that private person or private conglomerate will have their own also interest that will be at conflict with those people that are importing. So this is by one side. Then that is why I said that President Tinubu has done what is good by removing the subsidy, because subsidy itself is a vested is an hotbed for vested interest. We had about those people who were not importing anything, but they claimed subsidy. Come to tell me, this individual, would they even want to support a subsidy remover? That is why you have uproars here and then. And I call this Stockholm Syndrome. You know, Stockholm Syndrome is when the victims are now having, they are having pity, or they support their seducer. Those people who they are traducers, those people who are inflicting harm on them, the victim are now supporting it. That is the situation in Nigeria. Some of us, we are suffering from Stockholm Syndrome, in which we support those people who are the one that they are selling our patrimony. So it's a good decision to sell off the refinery.
Yes, government kept on spending money on this project for a long time. And even recently, we were told, just as we said, that Port Harcourt will start functioning. So why did they say it? Who is deceiving who? Is it government officials or the federal government is it government official that is deceiving the federal government and Nigerians, or the federal government itself is not actually truthful as regards information concerning this?
Yes, the frontline charge officers, they want to protect their job. They want to keep their job, and they want to be in good record of the presidency. And what do? They are not so patriotic enough to be very frank to advise the presidency that these investing in all this will amount to nothing. Rather, because of their vested interest, they forge ahead to run to invest on moribund technology. And as a sort of that, they want to feed the presidency with good news. That is why we have been hearing It's now in 40%, 60% running capacity. And at the end of the day, nothing came out of it. We are all seeing it now that these refineries, they are not functioning well. They are not as optimal production rate.
Yes, the time is not actually our friend or the program this morning, but there is this issue, this production of a thing that we are talking about. Yes, the federal government, yes, technology. Can't new technologies be manned or be brought into this country?
New technology can be brought, but not by government. It is not wise. It's not economically wise for government to be running business like this. Look around. Russia, Saudi Arabia, and all those oil producing countries. How many of them were running their own as a government entity? Rather, some of them, the Aramco in Saudi Arabia, we know that it's not the Saudi that is owning 100% of Aramco. So why should we continue to run the same mistake and we expect success? Yes, it is only a fool that continue to do something that made him fail and expect success.
Yes, assuming the refineries are eventually sold, what are the advantages?
Yes,
Dangote
we can use Dangote as a microcosm of what is to be expected. Today, we know that Dangote now is employer of labor. A lot of people are working in the refineries, and they are working. Dangote is a capitalist, is a businessman that want to see result of whoever is being employed. But today, we have directors and all those stuff that are reading newspaper and are collecting every morning at our refineries. Engineers that are not even managing any operation process, any big money, with all facilities, with all allowances. If these refineries were sold to the hands of private individual, do you think that this individual will just be sitting and then be collecting those allowances? You must have result for your effort. So it is more sensible that this refinery have to go. We have to sell all of them away, and then we see the result. People, more energetic youth will be employed. I'm not saying that there will be no backlash. You are going to see a lot of demonstrations here and there that the refinery must not be sold, allowances, severance, all this stuff. They are labor issues that the government is going to trash with the labor leaders. However, in the national interest, if those individuals are patriotic enough, but that is a scarce commodity in Nigeria balance, if they are patriotic enough, they must know that the game is up.
Yes, that is that on proposed plan to sell our nation's refineries. The other issues that we will quickly look at because of our time is election. Over the weekend, local government council election were held in Lagos State, and there are reactions by opposition parties. So I'm looking at the time. So but now also ahead of in Cameroon, the president there, the city president, also want to contest another election. Having been there for over 40 years, he still want to be in power. What's your reaction to this?
That has been the albatross of African leaders. The sit-tight syndrome is too bad, just to say the least. Paul Biya has been in the presidency of Cameroon
for over 43 years.
Right from the time I was still in primary school. So, and what's new, what fresh idea is he bringing on? Cameroon is nearby. What is the indices? What are the indices that will tell us that he is a performing president? Yet he's going weak day and day, and he's still holding us to power. This should not be encouraged. However, what baffles me is that some foreign powers are backing these individuals because of their selfish interests. And that has been the situation. And that is why sometimes I told somebody a blunt truth that, is there any democracy anywhere in the whole world? Is there any democracy? If people are saying that we don't want this, and some foreign power are supporting this, if people are saying we want this, and some foreign power are squattering it, so these are individuals. These individuals, they keep themselves, perpetuate themselves in the office while they are not producing, they are not developing their country, and people are suffering. But if it is just like Nigeria, we know that the maximum that the president will do is 8 years. That is the maximum. Baba that wanted to try the third time, the other time, it was, we thank God for the triumph of those people, men of conscience that thwarted that satanic move. So I think that should be the EU. However, I'm not a Cameroonian. I wish them luck.
Yes, still on that. Yes, it's part of Africa. What other countries might want to take a cue from what is happening over there. We have here said, but Biya's administration has faced criticism over allegations of corruption and embezzlement, as well as accusation of bad governance and failure to tackle security challenges. There have also been concerns about his health and ability to govern. 92 years as of today. His absence from the public for more than 6 weeks last year led to speculation about his well-being and unfounded rumors that he had died. Yeah, you said something just now. Reform in a maximum years to be in office. Is that not feasible over there?
It's feasible. That is why I said I wish them luck, because I won't go to Cameroon to help them to change the government or to canvass or campaign against Paul Biya. It is the onus lie on them. If they still want to keep a nonagenarian as their president, I wish them luck. If they want to call for reform, I think they should be by their streets.
Yeah,
in their millions or billions.
Now, when will in our country, when will an election be generally, to a maximum extent, generally acceptable by all parties? Going by what's happening.
Do you want me to speak the truth, or I should sugarcoat you?
Speak. Let's have the truth.
There will
it's always bitter.
Yes, there will not be a day that opposition will totally agree about the result of an election. But when you say fairness, the election should be, we can achieve that in Nigeria if we are patriotic. There's nothing about governance. You want to govern people, let people decide. So ballot box snatching and intimidation of voters is not in tandem with civility. So it is expected that we can still have that fairness in Nigeria, and you can agree with me that there is great improvement over what we used to have in 1999, the 2003 election, all those things, when we have do or die election, all those stuff, and where opposition are being ganged, and the EFCC is being used to at least silence some opposition. We are getting there, and Rome is not built in a day, so we are still getting there. And I have that absolute belief that Nigeria, we are moving in the right direction. And another thing that I want to put in is that just like President Tinubu said, and I gave that one top up, that it is not healthy for any nation to have a unitary party, a political system. That means you have a one-party system. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for politicians. It's not healthy for good governance. It's not healthy for the nation. We must have good opposition that will fire the heel of those people in government.
Your parting word on this program this morning
is that Nigeria is going to be great. I have that belief, and I commiserate with Nigerians over the death of President Muhammadu Buhari. I pray that those of us remaining will still live a long life and also reach pinnacle of our career and ambition in life, because he's a successful man by all standards. I wish to be president of Nigeria in nearest future as well.
Yes. If wishes were horses,
a beggar will ride. But I have that belief. I have that vision.
Yes, that will be the size of the program this morning. My guest has been Mr. Olalekan Junaid, a public affairs analyst. Till on Friday, where we shall be coming with another edition of the program. My name is Olushola Thomas. Enjoy the rest of your day.